All right, let's go ahead and let's spawn some of the other items here. So we spawn the floor, so let's add in the spawn ceiling. And what we're going to do is we're going to say ceiling is equal to sk sprite node. And the color is going to be off black color, the color that we set up here. And the size here is going to be CG size. And again, we have to custom and set the size here. So the width is again going to be self.frame.width. Okay, and the height, again, we're going to say that the height, we can say that the height here is going to be floor height. And there you go. Okay, so we're going to say ceiling.position is equal to CG point. And that CG point is going to be CG rect get mid x. And we're going to go to self.frame. And the y here is going to be CG rect get max y. And we're going to go to self.frame. Okay, and just like that here. Okay, let's add in the ceiling. We're going to add in some physics here. So in order to do that, we need to add ceiling.physicsBody is equal to sk physicsBody, and we're going to go rectangle of size ceiling.size, and we'll fix that little error later. What we'll do is ceiling.physicsBody.affected by gravity is equal to false. Ceiling.physicsBody.category bitmask is equal to physics category dot ceiling block, and then we're going to go to ceiling dot physics body dot contact test bitmask is equal to physics category dot player, because that's what it's going to be colliding with, and we're going to say ceiling dot physics body dot allows rotations equal to false, and then ceiling dot name is equal to ceiling name. Perfect. And then we'll add one more here. Ceiling dot physics body dot dynamic is equal to false. Now what we'll also do is we'll cut out this false and put it above here. Make sure that the one thing I like to do is like to have all, for example, my physics body here, and you can see that we just want ceiling here. All right, and you want to make sure that it is the ceiling up at the top there. All right, we'll go ahead and fix this. And actually, it should be this ceiling.size, and then it's going to give you another error, which is that's the one that you have to do. And then we're going to need to self.addChild, and we're going to go to ceiling. Okay, and we'll add that in here. So we have the ceiling, we have the floor. We're going to add in another function here. We'll call this spawn player, and this will do exactly that. It'll spawn the player. So we're going to go to player is equal to sk sprite node, and we're going to add in the color here, and the color is going to be off white color. So we'll make the player white, and the size will be player size. We're going to go to player dot position is equal to CG point, and we're just going to add in a simple x and y value here. And the x and y values just will make it 150 by 150. This, of course, needs physics attached to it, so player.physicsBody is equal to skPhysicsBody, and we'll go to player.size, and we'll go to player.physicsBody.affected by gravity is equal to false. Player.physicsBody.category bitmask is equal to physics category dot player. Player.physicsBody.category bitmask is equal to physics category dot, and we'll say floor block. And then what we'll also do is we'll say that the player dot physics body dot allows rotations equal to false, and player dot physics body dot dynamic is equal to false as well. lastly, we're going to go to player.name is equal to player name. And one more, self.addChild, and we're going to add in the player. There we go. And we'll fix this here. And I like to just use what xcode tells you to fix it. I find that easier. Some people like to go and do it the other way, but I like to do it that way. All right, so we now need to spawn the floor block and the ceiling block. And remember, these are the blocks that are coming at you and which you have to avoid by switching the gravity. So add in a function, we'll call this spawn floor block, and we'll make that equal to floor block is equal to sk sprite node, and we'll say this is off black color so it blends in with the floor, and this is going to be floor block size. Floor. Now we're going to go floor block dot position is equal to, and we're going to say this is a CG point, and we're going to put this off the screen, so it's going to be CG rect get max x. So we'll put it all the way to the right, and we'll go to self.frame. Okay, and we'll add 150, so it will add in a little bit more to that here. In fact, we'll add in quite a bit more. And then the y here is going to be CG rect get min. It's going to be get min y self.frame, and we're going to say plus 100. Now we might have to play around with those values later, but for now that should work. Okay, floor block, okay, dot physics body is equal to sk physics body, and we're going to say floor block dot size. Okay, and sometimes the autocomplete doesn't work the way you want it to. We're going to go to floor block dot physics body dot affected by gravity is equal to false. Floor block dot physics body dot category bit mask is equal to physics category dot floor block, and then floor block dot physics body dot contact test bit mask is equal to physics category dot player. Floor block dot physics body dot allows rotation is equal to false, and floor block dot physics body dot dynamic is equal to true. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll also say floor block dot name is equal to floor block name. Okay, and then self dot add child, and we're going to add in the floor block. All right, and we'll fix this up right here. Floor block. Perfect. We're going to add in another function here, and this other function is going to be spawn ceiling block. Okay, and this function of ceiling block is going to be ceiling block is equal to sk sprite node, and we're going to say color is going to be off black color, and the size is going to be floor block size. Now we're going to say ceiling block dot position is equal to CG point, and CG point here, CG point, and we're going to say that this is a CG rect get max x, and we're going to say self.frame, and we're going to add 150 to that, so it's going to be the same as the floor block, and the y is going to be CG rect get max y self.frame, and we will we'll say self.frame, and then we'll say minus 100. All right, ceiling block dot physics body is equal to sk physics body, and we're going to go to ceiling block dot size, and then we're going to say ceiling block dot physics body dot affected by gravity is equal to false. Ceiling block dot physics body dot category bit mask is equal to physics category dot ceiling block. ceiling block dot physics body dot contact test bit mask is equal to physics category dot player, ceiling block dot physics body dot, so we got the physics body dot allows rotations equal to false, and then ceiling block dot physics body dot dynamic is equal to true, and then we're going to say ceiling block dot name is equal to ceiling block name, and then we're going to go to self.addChild, and we're going to say this is the ceiling block. All right, go through and we'll pick up any errors that we need and fix anything that we need to, and I think that's about it. Yeah, and we also, of course, we need to do a bunch of things like add in timers and add in some actions to move it, etc. But for now, let's just go ahead and let's just say that we're done this tutorial.